Happy Easter to everyone. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Alaja Makasha Zibiri, how are you? How was your weekend?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank God, yesterday I saw my friend Amina Yunus Ali at the IFI event where we were panel members. The thing that they come my head immediately. Oh, so sorry.
Okay.
But today is her birthday. Happy birthday, Amina. Thank you for impacting life. She's a life coach and a teenage, you know, imagine when you are prepared so much and you're forgetting But she's always mentored and coached my daughter, helped me with her. And I looked at her Ramadan series. She wrote every day throughout the 30 days of Ramadan, and each of her write-up was also very reflective during Ramadan. So she's impacting a lot of lives. And most of the guest speaker yesterday referred to her works, a lot of people. So she's really gone far, achieving greatness.
Well done.
Happy birthday, many more fruitful and impactful years.
Good.
Happy Easter.
Yes.
Even though my people did not show up.
I don't know. I said the whole panel of Muslims. I said all the Christians your village just appear. Chica, okay.
Nothing drop. She wants to close me. Nothing is tiring. It's tiring.
Well, in this our government, it is well.
The dispensation.
Chica, okay.
Good morning.
This your hearing is very small.
It's very small. You know, I have to call. I'm loud. Now. My personality is loud. It has to shine through. I'm happy to be here. Very good. I feel like today I'm going to engage in gluttony. Over the weekend, I started a 3-day fruit and water fast. And I have barely managed to survive it. The first day was, Friday was the worst.
Virginia has influenced you.
I've always wanted to do this for a while, but I've just never manned up.
Okay.
First day, the headaches and the dizziness were insane. I thought I was going to die. The second day got better. But yesterday, I was kind of used to it. And even till now, I'm on the 4th, because this is the 4th day. I still haven't broken the fast, and I feel good.
Okay, so how long do you want to do it for?
No, 3 days. That's why today,
she's eating.
It's spread. I want to spread for myself. Yes, but it's life-changing, I really have to say. It's so good to the point where, you know, even the waste that comes out of you, not the liquid one, came out so fresh. I've never seen it. So fresh, the consistency, the texture, almost like zero smell. I'm not kidding.
Exactly.
No, just to tell you how good. And I feel very light. So, I mean, I recommend.
BC has been preaching this thing for years. I know how's that girl.
Check with your doctor, depending on your health.
Just detoxify.
Yes.
I'll try.
Really good. Try.
Rama 2, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. So, yesterday, you know, okay, so before my kids come back, we always have this, we go out, so I decide to put a budget on the table and say, okay, this is what we are going to spend anytime we go out.
Okay.
And then, you know, we are going to go and eat at a very, you know, one high-end restaurant. Already, we know the amount. By the time we got there, they doubled the amount.
Oh, my God.
So when they doubled the amount, I asked my kids, I was like, okay, so what do we do? This is our budget. What do we do? All of them were like, Mommy, add money now, add money.
From here.
I said, no, this is what we have. What are we going to do? I start thinking of solution. All of them were like, no, that we should. I just say, oh, yeah, stand up, let's go. This is not our budget. So we have to go and look for where we can eat within this budget. And I was so happy with that because I taught them one vital lesson that I've been like, you know how you as a mother, you've been like, you're doing very well.
Let me tell you, that aspect. This thing you're saying, I experienced it on Saturday. So their father gave me 50K for each. That's 200K to just take these kids out. Yeah, and then 50K for me too. Everything 250. Just carry the children out. So they wanted, and so all of them had a shopping list of what they wanted to buy. These are like 200K. We now go to the store. They say, bring your list. When they now realize that they wanted to buy this, they say, Mommy, buying jeans is your responsibility. This 50,000, they want you to buy chocolates, you know. So they were picking shirts and shirts. Saying, Mommy, this is your own responsibility. We will buy chocolate. I'm wondering, are you okay? So I didn't say the way. I said, we're working within your 50K. You have 50K. That's reminding me all the money they got for Shani's wedding, all the money they got. They started calculating it. So, Mommy, actually, I have 150,000 naira. One, the other one said, I have 100K. And they were right. Their money was with me. Set up. So that Saturday, the kind of money I spent, like all the money I've been keeping for them, they brought it out.
You vomited everything.
And because of accountability, I couldn't say, I beg. I just could have to accept whether 100K is with me, 150 is with you. So I now have to put all my money together, and I spent on Saturday. I did like this.
You are red.
But it's once in a while, actually. Once in a while.
Now, like this that they do.
Hey.
Anyways, before I go, I have to congratulate every member of the RCCG. We concluded 100 days yesterday. And it was such a glorious conclusion. And may God strengthen this opportunity for us. No, it's not strengthen. May God bless this opportunity that we have spent the 100 days in fasting. And God do every prayer point that have been raised within these 100 days. May God give us a landmark testimony. In Jesus' name, amen. I had to do that because I'm RCCG. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll look at the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. Plateau, Benue killings, state police back on front burner. Pope Francis seeks end to global conflicts. Arewa think tank backs Sule's position on president's re-election. Tinubu to Chani meet soon over the Nigeria-Niger ties. Tinubu's appointment most accommodating, says Omokri. Ponzi scheme influencers risk imprisonment. Ship owners list expectations on $400 million cabotage cash. And DHL suspends high-value delivery over Trump tariff. Okay, let's start with the major headline. Or which story do we want to start with?
Let's start with ship owners.
Okay.
So the Minister for Blue Marine and, the Minister for Blue Economy and Marine, I think. Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, former governor of Osun State, had directed that a $400 million cabotage vessel financing fund be disbursed to ship owners in Nigeria. And so, of course, the ship owners have used the opportunity, represented by the managing director of Stars Marine and Engineering Limited, Greg Ogbeifun, who was former Association of Ship Owners, former president of the Ship Owners Association of Nigeria, was speaking on behalf of them and saying, after commending the minister, of course, they went on to laud the minister for finally doing this. He said this, of course, must be done with strict adherence to due process and transparency in that disbursement. He said commended the minister for directing that NIMASA should handle it, but it's also very important that they disburse this accordingly and according to due process, so that there will be no scatter. This, he says, would of course position all ship owners and improve our economy in that sector. I'm happy that they're thinking like this, but the emphasis on that due process, it should say something don't happen to them before.
Okay, I have a story. Following all the criticisms our president has gotten from political opponents who have said that his top appointments favor his Yoruba ethnic groups. And there's been quite a lot of criticism on this for a while. So the former presidential aide, Mr. Reno Mokri, has absolved the president, saying that that according to him, the president's appointments are most balanced in the country's history. The former aide also said that the feedback was unfair, stating that the critics did not consider the president's appointments as comprehensively. Specifically, Omokri mentioned that the columnist Farouk Perogi relied on a set of appointments to support his conclusion in an article. The membership of one committee cannot establish tribalism. It is intellectually lazy and a hasty generalization to make such a conclusion from one alleged source, which is not accurate. He stated that the critics would have reached a different conclusion if they had considered the appointment holistically and in relation to the nation's order of precedence list. So that's his own position.
Reno.
Reno.
Okay, so I have the story of the Ponzi influencers bloggers gist. They said that Nigerian's apex capital market, as the SEC, has issued a stern warning to celebrities, social media influencers and bloggers over the promotion of unregistered and fraudulent investment schemes. I'm sure it's because of the CBEX stuff that happened recently. So they said the commission has also reminded the public that the recently signed Investments and Securities Act prescribes stiff penalties for violations, including jail terms and heavy fines. So they are also saying that they are collaborating with the law enforcement agencies such as that's EFCC and the Nigerian police and other relevant government institutions to investigate and prosecute individuals and platforms involved in unlawful investment promotions. And said the law also targets influencers, bloggers who promote fraudulent schemes with clear penalties, including imprisonment. So they're also saying that even celebrities that pick up all these kind of things and promote it, they will also be they'll also face the law very soon. So
yes, even TV stations, because there was a radio station too that actually
had them on there.
So these guys come because they have money. Many people just bring them on, forgetting to realize that. But about fact checking, so SEC is saying that all of us will be liable. We also have to be very careful on this table.
Absolutely.
We always wait for something like this to happen before we start putting in.
Yeah, sometimes you have
started a long time ago from MMM to.
The man that SEC is talking, maybe they should start looking at most of these betting platforms.
I have a story on the government tackling social vices in schools. Now, the federal government has inaugurated the newly reconstituted Special Committee on Campaign Against Social Vices in Secondary and Tertiary Institutions. Now, this committee is headed by Professor Jerry Gokwe, and they're saddled with the responsibility of intensifying efforts to eradicate cultism, drug abuse, cybercrime, examination malpractice, amongst other vices that are plaguing both secondary and tertiary institutions in the country. Now, this committee was first inaugurated by the former Minister of State for Education, Dr. Yusuf Sununu, in 2024. And he was disbanded last week and now has been reconstituted to reinvigorate the fight against social vices in Nigeria's educational institutions. Now, according to Professor Jerry, he says that this is coming at a time when the nation is grappling with rising cases of drug abuse, cultism, cybercrime, and other antisocial behaviors that threaten the fabric of Nigeria's educational institutions. And so he has called for collective support and active participation of every Nigerian to succeed in this endeavor. It's crazy how you hear stories in secondary schools, especially like the public secondary schools, of young ones who have started cults, who are killing. Like in some areas in Lagos, these secondary school students have actually killed people. And so it's important that we continue to aggressively fight this. Imagine this happening at a very young age. What now happens in our tertiary institutions? It's very scary to think about.
Okay. Just getting some breaking news. Pope Francis, who actually stories in the papers yesterday, was seeking end to global conflict, has passed on this morning from so we're just getting that. That was his last message before he passed on this morning. We're just getting that message from our news team right now, but we'll get more details. But he was speaking yesterday, recovering from an ailment that kept him in the hospital for 2 months. Yesterday, greeted Christians from his window at the Vatican in Rome to mark Easter. He also received United States Vice President J.D. Vance. A large crowd turned up for the Easter celebration and to listen to the Pope's his speech, which was read on his behalf by an archbishop. So the speech emphasized the need for peace across the troubled country. So we're showing some pictures right now from the Vatican, signifying, this was from yesterday actually, but we're just getting news of, reported of his passing. Such a glorious way to exit the world, you know, right after that message that was given to the world on Easter. Okay, let's go on a very short break now. When we come back, we'll continue with the paper review. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Entertainment. Join the fun.
Get ready to step into the heartbeat of your city like never before. Welcome to Events Diary, where every moment is a celebration. From the electric energy of Owambe extravaganza, to the richness of our culture, to the sophistication of corporate gatherings, Events Diary is your VIP pass to the hottest gatherings in Nigeria. And guess what? I'll be your guide, your style icon. Each week, join me as I transform from traditional chic to corporate sleek. Whether it's a birthday bash or a high-profile gala, you won't just see it. You'll feel like you're right there with me. Aww. From meetings to evening soirees, I'll be there. Or to the trendiest street festivals or to music concerts, Events Diary has something for everyone. So join me as we explore the vibrant tapestry of Nigerian scene, one event at a time.
Brand new studio, brand new set, a new face, but still your favorite breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria.
It's a fresh new energy, new vibe. You smell that?
Now that's the smell of tasty, tantalizing food from our various chefs.
And when it comes to sports updates with insightful analysis, the place you want to be is Wake Up Nigeria.
That's right. Every second there's a fresh occurrence, and every minute there's a story to tell. Keep abreast of happening locally and internationally via the news updates of Wake Up Nigeria.
It's live camera fashion, where we drop, slay, and sachet and keep you updated with all the latest fashion trends.
Level up your morning.
Watch Wake Up Nigeria, where every morning begins with a spark.
Hey, my people, I greet you plenty.
My name is Nachika Okeke.
My name na Uwi Balogun.
My name na Damilola Banire. My name na Moyo Faraway Ahmed. If you also call me Moyo, listen.
And this na Abigail. And I dare on top of your view pigeon. I'm going to bring you bass, boost.
I don't get person will be single mother before. He carry another man show say now my husband be this.
This na wetin you want.
After that day, the man
no go see am again. If you snooze, you lose. If you miss this show, you miss out. On top this our show, I not dey gree for anybody.
When you dey find the husband, you not see sign say the guy smart, you don't vex, don't give signs.
If they look for person, we will give them to you. Fact as it be.
Men no they ever get forced. If baby not there for her, na the woman.
Talk no dey be person, you make person not fit talk through inside. But for this country, we not say if we open court in the morning, waiting no good, no good.
Me and my sisters, hey, we go tanda gidigba for inside studio to give una all the latest information.
We not even take responsibility for the children. Leave the man.
And that's some Poria.
Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to Punch. Interest boom. 9 local banks generate 14 trillion naira from loans. State police off agenda as NEC meets on Thursday. Judgment analysis. Report made to LPDC. Father not dares wiki. Indebted retirees risk losing homes, says federal government. Power crisis. FG turns to banks for $23 billion lifeline. Kelly Shatima visits Plateau today as Danjuma calls for self-defense. Emergency PDP governor said gets Supreme Court hearing date this week, and presidency pushed back as Bakari Kuka criticized Tinubu's policies. Okay.
Okay, so the minister for FCT has provoked the legal luminary SAN Femi Falana, and now Femi Falana is daring him that instead of just talking and accusing me publicly, take me to the LPDC. Wike was addressing, that is under the 3 conferences, was addressing press conference at last week, and he said that Falana. He said it like this. He said, if someone of Femi Falana's caliber can go on national TV and lie, it is very serious. Lies can cause a lot of crisis, addressing what the SAN had said about the 27 defecting legislators in Rivers State. And so SAN vex say, Mr. Wike subjected me to another scurrilous attack in a press conference where he alleged that I lied about the defection status of certain legislators during my appearance on Channels TV. And he added that the issue of the lawmakers' defection was still pending before the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt when the Supreme Court made its ruling, saying that the matter was brought before the Supreme Court. Said I did not lie against the Supreme Court in respect of the judgment in question. All I said was that the matter of the defection of the 27 legislators was res suo motu and determined by the eminent justices of the Apex Court. And he says that the Apex Court is not opposed to being criticized. He cited instances from the times of Justice Oputa when people could criticize them, and late Justice Oputa was quoted to have said, "We are final not because we are infallible, rather we are infallible because we are final," highlighting his response to his openness to criticism. He also quoted the former Chief Justice Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed, who once said that you have the responsibility of drawing our attention to where things are going wrong or on the verge of going wrong, being open again to criticism, saying, and he has also been privileged to criticize courts within and outside the country in the most respectful and with utmost decorum, and he's never been reckless with his criticism. And he also used the opportunity to attack the Wike. He said that he's called him an opportunist in one line, and said, he has also been abusive of the judiciary whenever he did not get a favorable judgment in the past, and that he now is talking. He said, since he has become the unsolicited defender of the judiciary, I challenge him to take me to the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee, the LPDC, for professional misconduct. So we're waiting to see what the vex like that.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I have the story of the power. They said the federal government turns to banks. In a bid to end age-long power woes, the federal government is in talks with commercial banks and other investors to fund its ambitious universal electricity access, which requires a whopping 23.2 billion investment. They said Nigeria will require about 23.2 billion of aggregate investment to achieve the planned universal electricity access in 5 to 10 years, reaching 120 million people across 22 million households. They said that 14.1 billion, that is out of the 23.2 billion of the cost, is an upfront investment to which multiple stakeholders must contribute. They said this 14.1 billion investment is about 60% of the total amount, and is required to provide universal electrification to Nigerians. As we all know, that the country struggles with a paltry 5,500 megawatts of electricity. The universal electrification plan aims to supply 11,499 gigawatt hours of electricity per annum to the 22 million unelectrified residential households. They said that some banks have already committed, and that for some of the banks who have committed are first FCMB, they have committed 100 million, Stanbic IBTC, 100 million, and he also said that there's ongoing on how to bring in Access Bank and Zenith Bank on board. And they said that these huge banks, they are assured of returns on investment through tariffs. So let's hope that this will help them gather all the funds and be able to...
Okay, so I have a story. Pastor Tunde Bakare has shattered and broken all the tables. The pastor of the Global Community Citadel Church has said that the presidents risk a popular uprising unless the administration changes course on security and economy. He was preaching at his church over the weekend on Sunday. He argued that Nigeria demands a Joseph-type visionary, not a motor park policy type. He said that fellow citizens, they were speaking, they said that those responsible for steering the course of our nation lack the humility and character this moment demands. What we have seen since the beginning of the year is descent into tyranny and brazen abuse of power. Bakare also went on about talking about the fuel pricing. Despite the headline inflation easing to 23%, he still criticized, says that food prices remain relatively high. In the latter months, he also talked about the stampede and deaths in several cities They especially played to the heartbreaking reports of parents throwing their children over a fence in Ibadan to ensure access to charity food distribution, leading to deaths of 35 children were tragically almost reminiscent of the biblical famine in Samaria during their children, helping their children for survival. Also, he went on to, he accused the president of reducing the National Assembly to a haven of legislative rascality. And the 48th member of his cabinet said that even his members of his cabinet, they are more or less a third-term state governor in Rivers State, pampered by the indulgences of the president. He went on and on. As I said, he scattered and smashed all the tables. The presidency have tried to respond. I'm not even seeing any official response from the president, but I saw that Special Advisor on Policy Communication, Dr. Daniel Bwala, wrote on his official BATX, said that the pastor has given his personal opinion on events and decisions of government. He criticized certain policies and applauded some. He further offered his suggestions on the way forward. He acknowledged successes and strides of the president. Maybe he read differently, but what I heard was criticism. But anyway, he has. We're hoping that the presidency might respond officially, maybe sometime this week, to the issues that was raised by the pastor. I mean, a lot of people somewhat understand share the sentiments with because a lot of people have died, especially Plateau killings has totally taken us on the wrong turn, and the presidency and the admission of this government must do something quickly to get this resolved as soon as possible. All right,
I have the story on easing rent burden. The Lagos State government has charged the leadership of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, REDAN, and the Estate Agent and the Association of Estate Agents in Nigeria to support the drive to reduce the rent burden on Lagosians and shun the prevalent illegal fees in the real estate business. This was a statement issued by the Deputy Director of Public Affairs, Ganiu Lawal. He said these professional bodies need to stem the rate at which agents across the real estate value chain engage in competition of fees in real estate transactions. He says the introduction of illegal fees such as caution fee, inspection fee, finder's fee, and others represents a professionally harmful practice which affects tenants and puts the integrity of the practitioners and property owners at ease. So they had a session that discussed strategic engagements to curb all of these arbitrary rent charges and demand for high agent fees and to promote sanity in the real estate sector. The truth of the matter is there's so many, the sector to a large extent is still very unregulated. It's an open market where literally anyone can come in and become a player. And so when you have that, we also have on the other end of the spectrum, which many people don't see, because I play in that space. We do so much and nothing protects us too as agents. For instance, you have a client who wants to inspect a property, he's engaging you and 5 other agents. He wastes your time, doesn't show up to appointments, he doesn't pay an inspection fee, for instance. And I have suffered so much financial loss going about scouting for properties to show him, and he doesn't show up, and he's talking to 3-4 other people, and eventually he goes behind my back and behind the back of all the other agents and closes the deal because he has access to the property owner. So there are so many issues that need to be tackled. When you're talking about rent fees, inflation has beaten everything. If you want to develop a property right now, it's not the amount you needed 2 years ago that you need right now. And so naturally, rent fees will increase. If I put in money and say, by 5 years, I want to recoup the funds I have invested to build a 2-bedroom. Right now, I would need to spend at least 5 years to recoup my investment if I'm still going to charge the same amount as 2 years ago. Which is why rent fees. So when we talk about these things, there are different, moving parts to this.
You're absolutely correct. We talked about it recently, and I was complaining also because I had that experience. But you're absolutely right. It's on both sides. Okay, our final paper, Vanguard. We can't take too many stories. Retirees abandon pension plan over failed scheme. Naira for crude. AFG plans fresh crude cargoes for Dangote refinery. Death toll in Lagos building collapse rises to 5 and 15 rescued. Dati to Malami CPC bloc will continue to support Tinubu's government. Sex celebrities and influencers stop promoting Ponzi schemes. And 2027, no candidate can win without the North, says Baba Ahmed. Let's take a story, Vanguard.
Okay, so I have the story of the collapsed building. They said the building collapsed in the Ojodu Bega area of Lagos State. They said even gave us the address, Oremeta Street. They said it's located at 9 and 10 Oremeta Street, trapping restaurants, employees, and customers beneath the debris. But they were able to rescue 2 initially, but now they rescued 3 afterwards. And so it has come to a total of 5 have been this thing have been rescued. 5 deaths.
Yes, 15 rescued, 5 deaths.
Yes, so they said that 5 persons have now been confirmed dead, while 15 others were rescued alive. And then they are also saying that the people who have died include 2 adult males and 3 females, while those rescued alive comprise 6 adult females and 9 adult males. And so they are also saying that they are still there. Safety measures had been put in place and the area cordoned off to facilitate ongoing search and rescue operations. So they are still there trying to rescue as many people as possible. This is just happening back to back. We need to do more. We need to be more proactive. We need to be proactive in things like this.
Let's congratulate Chude Onokoya. He reclaimed his Guinness World Record. So in 2024, yes, he had gotten the Guinness World Record after playing chess for 60 hours. Yes. And then somebody from somewhere go and collect it from him. Yesterday, he played it again and he won after playing for 64 hours.
Wow.
And he is now the Guinness World Record holder again. So congratulations.
All right.
If they try it again, give them 17 hours.
That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amako Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Barkamu da warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Murayo Afolabi Brown, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of Your View are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyinbo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call a permanent solution.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crimes of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe is achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. I'm Adedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
I'm Nifemi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News.
My day is usually busy and it's difficult keeping up with breaking news stories, trending stories, business news, stock exchange and what have you. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking news, real-time updates and trending stories on the go. right on my phone, no matter where I am. It's quick, easy, and always on. And here you can join us by scanning the QR code or using the link on our X and Instagram. Why wait? Come to the side of news that keeps you ahead. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Stay to the colors.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers.
Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the fine.
Thanks for staying with us. So our hot topic today is Pastor Poju Oyemade. He's trending seriously on social media because of himself. In fact, this Sunday sermons, Pastor Bakari had his own that smashed the tables. Pastor Poju too has smashed the tables because he was here talking about the fact that Nigerians are programmed to hate their country. He was speaking on the pulpit, and it was alluding to the informal sector of our economy that is not captured. So we're saying that Nigerians are saying, so someone was telling him in the US that what's the employment rate? And he was saying that there's nothing like that really in Nigeria because there's a large informal sector that is not captured. And that is almost impossible in other countries. People are earning, they're making money here, they're selling small, you can sell hair, you can sell shoe, you can sell bag. My PA, she's selling granules, she's selling stuff. The revenue she's making is not captured. He also said that Nigeria is the only country where you can go to school, you can be a doctor for as low as 500,000 naira, and then you travel abroad and you can still build on that career and start making dollars. In America, it's impossible for you to use like $2,000 to go to university and become a doctor. That's impossible. So we're just going on and on, and obviously Nigerians responded. Some were saying that, what are you talking about? That in the country, you say that Nigerians there's an informal sector, but do you realize that the roads are bad, there's no electricity, telling Nigerians to work 2 or 3 jobs is impossible in Nigeria because even the first job you go to, they may not even pay your salary. The second job you're not going to get anything commensurate with the work you're doing. So it is an imbalance. It's a conversation that is not totally complete in the way he has said it. But what are your own thoughts? Because, like, as I said, it's trending on social media. We'd like to hear the viewers and hear your thoughts on it. You can call us on 020-163-52013, 090-241-63448. You can also send us messages on X and also on YouTube. We'll be happy to hear your thoughts. Chika, I want to go first?
I could go first,
Please.
Yes. So I just want to say this is the reason why I personally don't like comparisons. Different countries and different systems across the world have their unique set of their peculiar blessings, yes, challenges, and the things that they have to contend with. And so Nigeria doesn't fall short. Agreed, as a country, we have certain things going for us. We have human resources, right? We have natural resources. The strength of our people, the tenacity of Nigerians in itself, I think arguably is one of the greatest resources that we have as a people. And so which is why when we go anywhere across the world, we excel because it speaks to character, who we are, how we're raised. And yes, it does. So even though you say that, yes, certain things are easier to do here because, for instance, it's easier for you to just get up, start a business, no regulation, you don't pay your tax, and you're making money. And if you had to get education, for instance, here in the country, it's cheaper. Some fields, it's cheaper to, for instance, medicine, surgery, being a nurse, it's probably cheaper to get that education here, and you can still stand head to head with your international counterparts. While that is true, when we talk about sectors that are unregulated, we also have unregulated problems within those sectors. So when we're talking about sectors that are not captured, where these people are thriving and they're making so much money and nothing is being remitted to the government, even within that subsector, there are unregulated challenges that these people have to contend with on their own. And so generally, as a people, when you say that somebody is selling hair, a bunch of hair, 250,000 naira, and she sold 3 bunches, and she's not going to pay tax for that, there's nothing is going back into the coffers of the government to contribute to infrastructure. While that is true, how many Nigerians, we're talking about just one chunk of a sector of Nigerians. The vast majority of Nigerians are suffering and have been suffering for the longest time. Some can barely afford to eat a square meal. Eating healthy, eating fruits right now has become a luxury. Our middle class has gone extinct. These are real palpable issues that we contend with on a daily basis. And so think about the potential. If as a country we had the basic access to the things that we need to thrive, we had those things going for us, think about how much more better we will be doing, not just abroad, but within the shores of this country.
Point taken. Let me come to you, Nima, because there was a part of that video or other videos I've watched that says that many Nigerians, we know our problems. Just like I think Chika just said that every nation has its peculiarities. So we have our peculiar problem. We don't have light. Our roads are bad. We have our government's corruption. We have those things that are there. But in all of these, some people are thriving. What are your thoughts on what the pastor is saying?
I've known Pastor Jideonwo since my days in Lasso. He used to send newsletters and preachings to me back then, and I used to just read them. And I've always kind of liked the line of thoughts. You see, what he was saying is something all Nigerians must wake up to. We are quick to do the comparison that you said you would not. Go to social media. That is, he said, they are groomed on social media to hate their country because you see the problem. These problems you just highlighted, what China and the tariff war has exposed America to is that the America's problem is even bigger than ours. The level of unemployment and the inability of the wealthy class to free the lower class to have the means to making wealth is huge. Did they just do what's it called, the protest? What was the protest title? To tell the Elon Musk and co to let go. They just had that protest because they just found out that because of this huge profits, they've been scamming them with designer names and brands and products. That's a country. But when they want to solve the problem, they don't come and say Nigeria is the problem. They face the problem. But an average Nigerian here, as soon as you're leaving school where you have just gotten affordable school fees, education, especially you're looking at the country and saying, God punish this, what has it done for me? And you're looking out. You're never looking within to say, okay, what can I do here? An average, we're talking of over 50% of our youth today, average are thinking, I can never make it here. I must live here. It is, some people use the most crude, the most abusive words online. And if you put that place, if you sit on that place and you feast there, you feed on those posts and notes, you would never have, you wonder how you raise your kids here. You lose hope completely. But the places they want to go to, that they are looking to, and hoping that everything there is green there, you see that they have their own peculiar problems, just as you've mentioned. And are they looking on how to solve it? They're solving it within. No, I have never heard a Canadian curse Canada.
They're overusing ourselves.
No, but they criticize our government for bringing in
they do. They curse the place.
Exactly.
You don't want to be on X and see some of these comments. Sometimes I deliberately say to myself, I'm not cursed. I'm in Nigeria and my place is not cursed. I have to keep saying it from what they feed our young ones. And an average 13-year-old now is asking for a phone. When they go there, who is going to censor what they're reading? Who is going to tell them, no, don't mind that person? And the most influencers with the highest number of pages, I am a Pan-Africanist. I don't just follow pages. Anything that is not African-centric, I'm not interested. But when I do follow them, you will see people under the comments who do not have a single hope. There are countries in Africa whose governments are even struggling with worse. And the countries you're looking to are the cause of those problems in those African countries, including ours.
Okay, let me come to Ramat.
Yeah,
your thoughts on this.
Okay, so I totally agree with what Nima is saying. If you're on X, you constantly...
Do you agree with Pastor Pojumi?
Yes, I agree with Pastor Pojumi. Yes, I agree with him because constantly on X, I've never seen a country like Nigeria with the Nigerian citizens, the way we criticize our government. No matter what the government does, we are very good.
Is the criticism unfounded?
Yeah, it's sometimes the way we go about it, the curses we rain on our presidents, governors, and all. Instead of every single time, we're always singling out all the problems. Sometimes when you single out problems, bring up solutions as well. Most times it's never solutions. It's always the government didn't do this, the government didn't do that, the government this and that and all of that. But you are thriving when you go abroad. You are thriving in all and everything, the things you are doing. Example like this is the medical part he brought about. Yes, he's very right. You study for like as small as 500,000. Abroad is very expensive. I know of somebody who wants to go abroad to school. If you see the procedures just to get admission there, to study medicine, and over there to study medicine, you don't just get the admission directly to study medicine. You must study maybe something like biochemistry or this. You don't just go into medicine direct. Unlike here in Nigeria, that you go into study medicine and graduate after 6 years. Most of our most of the people who study medicine and are abroad, they are doing very well in their respective fields.
Okay.
They are nailing it and doing so well.
Mate, let me come in here because I hear you and I hear Nima. However, if you tell that to somebody who lives in Plateau State right now, they just killed 120 people in the community. They are Nigerians who are suffering, just like Chika has said. So I hear Pastor Pojo and I agree with him to an extent. But the reality is that there's some people having it really tough. They're not even as rich as those who are going to his church members, to his church and are selling wigs. There are some who are trying to survive. Just to eat. Now, but I also see the part that we're a social country such that we always stop, even though you don't have any money, you have one auntie that will give you something. You always sort of a begging nation where we have somebody who helps us to survive somehow. But it still does not negate the fact that people are suffering.
It is.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we open our phone lines and take a few comments. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
Yeah, that's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym to get fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying.
So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still talking on this Pastor Okpoju's sermon. You see, and I want to go on the issue of grooming, because Nima had mentioned that before during the break. And I'll come to you, Chika, on this. We agree the country is not where we would like it to be. There's corruption. We don't have power. I was celebrating Ikeja Disco the other day, but we're having issues across the nation. But the fact that it seems as if the generation is being groomed intentionally to hate Nigeria. For me, I have a serious problem with that, because I have 4 kids. We live in this same country that you're cursing. We eat, I work here. Every money I make is in this country. I have no plans to jack by anyway. So if you sit down comfortably in Canada and you're cursing the country that you left because of the hardship, I live here. So my 4 kids, are they going to be raised in this cursed country? Is that what you, so when I personalize that, it has a whole different meaning. So I understand where he's coming from, where must we curse the nation? Which is the conversation I'd like us to touch on.
Okay, so I would say that first things first, there's a place for making the argument for saying this generation, they're being groomed. And there's a place for saying that the truth of the matter is that reality is staring everyone in the face. So even before this generation of our kids, our generation and our parents before us, would you also say that the sentiments that they hold thanks to their lived experiences on a day-in, day-out basis for over the last since when we had independence, is that grooming? We've been groomed from 1960 up until this point. That's what we're really saying. It's a different thing when it's hard to hate home. It's really hard. I was raised by my dad and mom. It will take something, it will take the most extenuating circumstances of toxicity and trauma to make me turn my back and say, home, I'm done with you. Because we all as humans have a natural affinity towards home. We can't help it. Yes. Regardless of where we've been, where we've traveled to, there's this innate yearning that you cannot break ties with easily to say, oh, home is dirt, home is... So it takes something truly traumatic to say, you know what? Home, I'm done. And this is the reality that is staring many Nigerians in the face for them to express themselves the way that they do. I do not believe in cursing. I believe there's a way to articulate your thoughts. But you see, sometimes what happens is when people have suffered for so long, the lines become blurred as to what is really cursing and saying, oh, you're making pronouncements that can have definitely effects for the foreseeable future.
Let me pause you for a quick second. I'm going to come back to you, Chika. Yeah. Let me take Maurice. Has been called holding for a minute. Good morning, Maurice.
Yeah, Mariah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, you see, what the pastor said is actually true. Because the problem is that we Nigerians, we don't believe in ourselves. We are very, very lazy, believe in shortcuts. Look at Chinese, Indians. You see them to Nigeria because they know the potential of this country. Whereas we, Nigeria ourselves, we believe in shortcuts to go abroad. And by the time they get to abroad, that's why they're not finding realize that it's not really green. The grass is actually not greener on the other side. So we should especially this our youth, they should be prepared to work hard. If you don't want to work hard, you cannot make it. That's why they believe doing all this Yahoo politics as the only way to make it. And an average American will criticize Donald Trump, will criticize Joe Biden, but at the end they will say, God bless America. So if we want to disagree between the leader and their country. But the case of Nigeria is not like that, and it's quite unfortunate because this problem has really gone deep into our DNA that the youth they don't want to work. So they always want to believe that they can make it through short term. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You see, this is where I have an issue, Chika, and I'll come back to you in a second. When I watch Nigerians living abroad, they listen to our music. This music that was brought up in this cursed land, this land that you curse. The guys are in the studio in Bariga recording this song in this bad country. And this same song is being expanded. And you are living in Canada. You are playing your 50th birthday, and you are playing our song. How are you not playing white people's song? Since you've cursed that land. I'm coming back to you in a second. The same clothes, all the ugu from Nigeria, all the okra, you are insisting that your people should bring it back. So you still want who you are. But you want a part of you, but yet you still curse the land that you left. That's my own concern, because many of our people abroad, as much as I understand that they came out of penury and they moved into this new world, and they don't want to look back. And I didn't walk their shoes, so I don't know what they went through. Penury, actually, not penury, penury. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that, is it right the way we talk about Nigeria online? Is that the right thing for us to do? Do you think it's right for the pastor to bring to the fore how Nigerians curse our country, albeit the state we are in as a nation?
Well, the pastor is paying the price for anybody who tries to reason. So we have a problem. This problem, just as you said, if you read the newspapers in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, same headline.
Same thing, same headline.
Same headline. So the people who have made it out of the problem were those who thought differently. Whenever you now reason with Nigerians to think differently, hey, they will come for you, because that's the new order. To me recently that you are privileged. You are working on TV. Just as the pastor mentioned, do you know how many jobs I do? You know how many low-class jobs I would do that you would consider low-class? If you see me where I'm bagging rice, I do it crudely. I don't have the highest machine. When I started, we had to measure. We did not even have the weight machine. We had to calculate it. But that's the rugged Nigeria that made me. I'm rugged, and we find a way. But people say that as a Kevamuma, I'm an ant. Sand cannot kill me. The problems that you amplify are sand compared to the things that I think of. You cannot bury me with sand. I will find my way. I will burrow out of it. That's how I think. And that's how people should think about it. Because the countries in question you go to, every time when we now sit in the news, especially the Western countries, don't even use the word. If you want to give me a country, talk of Qatar, talk of maybe Saudi, I will understand. But don't give me any of the Western countries. No. And truly, God knows, I don't even have any bias in love for these countries I just mentioned. I'm just talking about working countries. Yeah. Countries where things are working. But don't come and give me America, UK, Canada. They have their problems, systemic problems, in fact. Their justice system that we always like to... See the way their justice system, wrongly, records have shown imprisoned black men without proper trials. But we don't like to see that. We say that they are perfect. They're not. But there are people. I've never compared an African country that is starting like us to themselves. Yes. Okay. We constantly refuse to solve our problems. Everybody that God has made, every land that God has made, He's blessed in a peculiar way, and also gave them problems in peculiar ways. And they must look within to solve those problems. But you see, this thief of joy, comparison that we do all the time, has made us forget that we can actually solve the problem.
Okay, let me take this comment. We have to wrap up. I don't know if Ramato has anything you want to comment on social media. But here from Engineer Tijani says that I stand with Pastor Yemade. We simply have the wrong kind of people on social media. They thought the essence of social media is just to lament, abuse, curse, and make utterances that shouldn't be associated with responsible citizens. Have you ever seen any of them engaging in intellectual debate? Citizens prefer solutions to challenges. They don't run away or hide. Okay, and he was quoting Quran 13:11 says, and indeed Allah would not change the condition of the people until they change what is in themselves. Any comments?
So somebody said that yes, the cost is so much that how do we expect us to thrive when you keep costing the nation? And then he now also said that yes, because they are faulting the government, of course, the government has not provided all the opportunities and infrastructure. He didn't put the infrastructure in place for us to be able to thrive in this economy. That's why they look abroad.
We have to wrap up,
You know,
unfortunately. Chika, you have any last comment?
Yes,
on this?
comment from Just Reason. It says Nigerians are hardworking and the youth are vibrant. However, there aren't legitimate wealth in that country to create proper commitment from the youth. Only everybody.
That's a very powerful comment. The fact that, yes, there might not be a lot of legitimate wealth out there, Nima. That's the reality. There are people that think they're wealthy. Think that you look at the success in Nigeria. Many of them, it's not legitimate. I always tell people, what is he produced? Because I don't really fancy when it's rich people. I'm very, because of my own personality. If I cannot see what you are buying, you are selling. I will admire you from afar, but I cannot aspire to be like you or be frolicking around you. No way. Because there's got to be something you are selling and you're manufacturing, that you're selling. Before I can acknowledge you as a wealthy person. So you're right. So I guess there are two sides of this argument that we must really be careful. Let's go in a very short break. Let's not forget today's Easter Monday, and we have to understand the essence of Easter. We'll bring in our pastor after the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they're for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I will not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You see some spoils.
That woman.
Damn.
Today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's get talk.
And don't been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay tuned. Entertainment for pure entertainment. Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Get ready to step into the heartbeat of your city like never before. Welcome to Events Diary, where every moment is a celebration. From the electric energy of Owambe extravaganza, to the richness of our culture, to the sophistication of corporate gatherings, Events Diary is your VIP pass to the hottest gatherings in Nigeria. And guess what? I'll be your guide, your style icon. Each week, join me as I transform from traditional chic to corporate sleek. Whether it's a birthday bash or a high-profile gala, you won't just see it. You'll feel like you're right there with me. Aww. From meetings to evening soirees, I'll be there. Or to the trendiest street festivals or to music concerts, Events Diary has something for everyone. So join me as we explore the vibrant tapestry of Nigerian scene, one event at a time.
Brand new studio, brand new set, a new face, but still your favorite breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria.
It's a fresh new energy, new vibe. You smell that?
Now that's the smell of tasty, tantalizing food from our various chefs.
And when it comes to sports updates with insightful analysis, the place you want to be is Wake Up Nigeria.
That's right. Every second there's a fresh occurrence, and every minute there's a story to tell. Keep abreast of happening locally and internationally via the news updates of Wake Up Nigeria.
It's live camera fashion, where we strut, slay, and sachet, and keep you updated with all the latest fashion trends.
Level up your morning.
Watch Wake Up Nigeria, where every morning begins with a spark.
Hey, my people.
Welcome back. So before we move on to our next segment, we have a few comments from the last topic, which I think is important. Jalil Aziz here says, good morning, ladies. I'm just joining your program. You see, most Nigerians living in diaspora, but talking bad about Nigeria, are sheer hypocrites. Many of them still invest in resources back in Nigeria.
Exactly.
I have this one from, sorry.
Go ahead, Chika.
Okay, Ogun's Shegun. He says, my mother died as a result of power failure in a federal general hospital. So tell me what I don't know about the country.
Okay, Banky's corner says, Nimami, Nigeria not happened to you. But Ghania replied him that said, Nigeria doesn't mean anything. That prayer doesn't mean anything because Nigeria isn't a bad omen. And that's how we must see it. When bad things happen to you, it's not Nigeria, it's Nigerians.
That happen to you.
Nigerians who do these bad things to you. The country didn't do you.
Nigerians happen to you.
But somebody started that statement and started using it, and it's so wrong. It's completely wrong. Someone else answered that the same things will happen in other countries, but you don't say America happened to you. You say something bad happened. It's just the saying. It's in the wordings and everything that we do here.
If our leaders were accountable and people were lazy, maybe the story would be different. You know, somehow our government have contributed to this whole thing. We shouldn't say we're going to put them out of the whole thing.
Not.
There are opportunities, yes, quite all right, but our government have contributed largely to the way
our people.
See,
when somebody did a video recently talking about the employers, the business owners of Nigeria, that book will not close it if we open it. Who owns those businesses? Who pay people peanuts for work done? Who have no proper welfare for their staff? Who are saying if I pay you what you're worth, you'll be free enough to question something within my government.
But the government have to do their own part. The government needs to do their own part so that all of us will be able to.
Somebody say Nigeria has not happened to me. If I tell you bad things that have happened to me is not Nigeria.
Because our guest is here. I just wanted us to touch a few things. This your matter is hot. Maybe he might have a few thoughts on it also. But in celebrating this year's Easter and to re-emphasize the lessons to build a country of our dream, we have with us Pastor Biodun Oladele from the Chapel International Church. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning.
Before we go into Easter matters, do you have any thoughts on this issue we were discussing?
Yes, I have a lot to say.
Oh, great.
I have a lot to say. The issue most times is the mindset of the people in Nigeria. And that's one thing we are really not looking at. We have been conditioned in a way to see Nigeria with a perspective based on your own reality. Everybody talking has their own reality based on how fair, how good things have been to them. And if someone that had the advantages is to speak from his own reality, and like I saw something very brilliant, coming up from the two sides. And amazingly, for me, what my own thought will be on the fact that we are a victim of the mindset of the people, the mindset we have created as a result of our experiences. And secondly, the leaders we are blaming, they are a product of the same society. They all came from this same society, this same place, and they are doing what they are doing because of how they were formed also. Our formation, our mindset have culminated into what we have become as a people. So when people have the opportunity to come out of this environment in quotes, and they look back, comparing and looking at how it is over there compared to how it is here, then naturally the thing that comes up is people begin to compare, which is a natural thing. But in spite of all this, there is something very, very good about Nigeria. Last week I've been having an African tour doing some of our meetings in some nations of Africa. I was in Kenya last week for a week. Amazingly, all the music you hear in Kenya, Nairobi, are all Nigerian. The amazing thing is that people abroad celebrate Nigeria more. Absolutely. I had the privilege to meet with some of the parliamentarians. If you see the way they talk about Nigeria in spite of our challenges, if you see the way they talk about that, they partner, they copy and emulate what we do over here. But when a Nigerian gets outside, it feels like there is nothing really good about Nigeria. If Nigeria is as bad as we think it is, while the Chinese people, while we are having them flock everywhere in our streets in Nigeria, then there is something good about this land that we are not seeing. That's my perspective.
Interesting.
It makes me wonder, it's all easy for somebody who has the means to get away and coming back and forth to say, oh, I love this country, fantastic. If you live in Nigeria on a daily basis for the last 20, 30 years and for the next 40 years, day in, day out, Nigeria, you have no means to get out. This is where you live and stay. Would you be so... The Chinese come to do business and they can always go back and forth and enjoy the best of both worlds. They have the flexibility. But you live in Nigeria as a Nigerian, day in, day out, for the last 30 years, even to the next 40 years. Would you share the same sentiment to the extent that you share it? That's a question that comes to mind.
Okay, let's move on. Easter. That's a fabulous question because it's all just like Pastor said. It's all based on the lens you are using and your experiences.
I agree with Pastor. It's the lens. But let me just read this thing. Prakasaka says, yes, the world is corrupt, but don't allow a corrupt world to corrupt you, to disturb your inner pleasantness, to poison you emotionally, to torment your mind, and to make you physically inactive, to dictate your destiny. Be on the watch and maintain an inner calm and clarity. This will make you a living solution to the injustices of the world. It applies to every part of the world that you believe in, that you belong to, that you live in. The same Chinese that are coming here for solution because they have a problem in China as well. There are injustices there. There are some systems that don't work there. In the suburbs, people are looking for solution and coming this way. But we are here. I have never seen a Chinese and cost the government or the land. They're looking for solution everywhere. There's no part of the world you don't see Chinese. Everywhere, Indians, everywhere. But once we put up camera and ring lights like this,
okay, let's come to our pastor because I like to talk on Easter because it's still Easter.
Thank you so much.
And we are so used to lamenting and complaining in this part of the world. So please, what is the message of Easter? What would you like to tell our viewers who are watching this morning?
Thank you so much. I'm so privileged to be here, and I count it a very great privilege. And I want to say happy Easter to everyone out there. And in spite of everything happening, there is something about the season we are in. You know, life is lived in seasons, and every season comes with a message. There is a message. The reason I carry the perspective I carry and nurse is because as things are changing and things happen in life, whatever happens in this life is communicating a message. And most times we have to focus on the message so that we can know the significance of where we are and where we are going. For Easter has quite a lot of beautiful things to communicate to the human person, especially for an African, an average Nigerian. The first thing about Easter is when we express how that our Lord Jesus died and all of that, it is communicating a message of God's love to us. The Bible says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. I believe that knowing God is knowing love. I believe that walking with God is walking in love. And what makes us as a people, in spite of all the things we're going through, is the capacity in Nigerians to love one another, to celebrate, to be happy, and all of that. That's the foremost lesson about Christmas. The second thing I see about Easter, the second thing I see about the Easter story is the fact that I began to look at what the Bible portrayed in God sending his only begotten son in order to have us back to himself. It gives me a perspective about God, that God can go to any length in order to achieve his will and his purpose come to pass. In other words, and that's one brilliant thing I think it is about Nigeria we have to celebrate really, in the fact that, listening to Nima speak and all of that, people can go the extra mile in order to achieve things. The only question is how legitimate for us are those things. But we have seen God go the extra mile in sending his only begotten son in order to have us to himself. Another beautiful thing about the message of Easter is that God is a God of all possibilities. To God, all things are possible. And we have to view it in the light of that so many things are still possible in spite of how things have gotten, how bad things are. A lot of possibilities are ahead of us. Another beautiful thing about Easter is the fact that Easter communicates a new beginning for everyone. God is a God of new beginnings, and secondly, God is also a God of a second chance. You might have messed it up the first time, and our Bible teaches that God gives second chances to people. Another message of Easter will be me talking and looking at it in this perspective that you know, the enemy killed Jesus and they thought they had achieved all they have to do. But in spite of all this, when the bad or the worst has happened, God can still bring the best out of the worst situations.
Okay.
Jesus died, he was buried, and he resurrected, which is what we are celebrating. So when the devil and the enemy does his worst, God can still do his best in spite of that. All of this is communicating to me. I see the Nigerian picture in the story of Easter, in the message of Easter, because every part of it is communicating to our human person. And there's a lot of reality for us to draw from all this. Thank you so much.
This morning, Pope Francis died.
Yes, I got that news.
And I mean, that's the head of the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
So in your own view as a pastor, do you think there's any significance in him exiting the world on such an
especially at this time?
Easter Monday.
Yeah, I think that it is still communicating hope, you know, in spite of all this. You know, at the time you will see, people thought maybe that was going to be the end. And if you check what I said, you know, it was like the end had come at that time. Preparation were already going on that, okay, this man is past and all that. And it came out of it. I saw a picture in Vatican where he didn't talk or say anything, but he went by greeting people. You can see hope, you can see possibility in all of these things. I believe the time has just come, and that's communicating peace. That's the communicating the love that God has for us. And it's so delighting to have it that he lived a very good life. He impacted people, and that's what life is all about. It is not what you are for yourself, but what you give back to others. And that's the major thing about the Pope.
Okay.
So I have this question, right, about Easter. I realized that a lot of estates, they are doing parties, and there's this egg hunt. So how I don't understand how the egg is related to Easter.
The culture of the egg.
Yeah, the culture of the egg, yes.
How did it creep into
Because even
Easter?
in pictures, you see eggs inside, and then Happy Easter, yeah.
That's a good question. I was going to ask that because I don't celebrate Easter. I'm a Jehovah's Witness. If you research, you see that Easter is deeply rooted in pagan origins. But what I do celebrate is the memorial of Jesus' death, taking time to appreciate that death. The ransom was paid, and what that ransom means for you and I going forward, how we should be living our lives, not for ourselves, but for the one who has redeemed us.
What day do you celebrate that?
On the day that it falls on the Jewish calendar every year.
The Nisan 14.
I would like him to talk about the
Nisan 14.
Yeah, Nisan 14, yes. So please go ahead.
I want to say this, that when we look at the entity called Easter celebration, there are different traditions. And depending on your perspective, like Chika is saying, she doesn't celebrate Easter. I celebrate Easter. And everything has to do with orientation. The people using egg, it's a tradition that has been passed across to us. Like we have a major issue now is the fact that is the Good Friday thing really true? Because we have 3 traditions. Some say that Jesus was crucified on Friday, which is the Nisan 14. And we have some who said it was on Wednesday. When they gave their own perspective, it looks correct. These are traditions that came out of people's perspective. Someone is just building something on a verse of scripture in the Bible. Someone has... some people have built a consciousness out of something, and they believe that, okay, let's go to this land to celebrate it. It has nothing actually to do with the real thing. And that's why I love it when you said we should speak about the significance, the message of Easter in itself. Sometimes we exalt tradition above the real thing. Like Chika said, the most important thing is what Jesus did at that time and what it means to us as a person. The traditions and all of those things really don't matter, but the message, the significance of Easter.
Interesting. You know, Chika, I mean, I always forget that you're Jehovah's Witness, so it's really nice to hear your perspective. So you celebrated Easter on Friday.
So last week Saturday is when April 12th, that's when it fell on the Jewish calendar.
Okay. The Jewish calendar is lunar, so isn't it?
It's the, I forget what it's called now. I forget the name of the actual calendar, but it's the same day that it falls on the Jewish calendar, because, you know, it's important. So sometimes we say, oh, these things don't matter as long as the intent is correct. But really, when you're doing something to honor someone, you have to honor them in the way they would like to be honored. The Bible is replete with incidences where the Israelites tried to mingle or mix up their worship with the things and nations around them were doing, and God was very displeased. So it's important that whatever you're doing to glorify someone, you have to ask, what will make this person truly feel honored? If I want to gift you something, I'd probably take some time to reflect, what does Mariah like? What would really speak to her person? And so it's important that, you know, when we're engaging in celebrations.
So on that day, did you eat meat? Because I know that on Good Friday, they say they don't eat meat, they don't eat anything.
We eat everything.
Okay. We only eat frijon and fish on Friday and I have to thank Auntie Taiwo for sending me frijon. Lovely frijon.
But why is that?
Because we try in honor, just in honoring of the crucifixion of our Christ. We try to exempt ourselves from eating it. That's how it was passed down to me, you know. But hey, we have to wrap up on this. But thank you very much, Pastor.
Thank you
Any
so
final
much.
word to Nigerians as it is?
Nima, sorry. To ask that he gives a final word, because right now I'm very confused about. Even though I went to Christian Catholic school in primary school, I'm confused about what significance every day now has. You know, this is Easter, there was Christmas, it's all centered about worship and all of that. So what would you give as a last message to Nigerians before you leave about what Easter should be, what you should change in them?
All right. Like I said, there is a message of Easter.
Yeah.
And the significant thing about it is the fact that God loves us.
Yeah.
God is interested in us. God wants the best out of us, and God is committed to us. And that's one thing I see in all the things that Jesus did. It is communicating one thing. God loves the human person.
Thank you very much, Pastor. We have to wrap on that. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, bring our guest, our second guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view.
My name is Nachika Okeke.
My name na Uwi Balogun.
My name is Damilola Banire.
My name na Moyo Faraway Ahmed. If you also call me Moyo, listen.
And this na Abigail.
And I dare on top of your view pigeon.
I'm going to bring you bass, boost. I don't get person will be single mother before. He carry another man show say now my husband be this. After that day, the man disappear
again. If you snooze, you lose. If you miss this show, you miss out. On top this our show, I not dey gree for anybody.
When you dey friend the husband, you not see sign say the guy smart, you don't vex, don't give signs.
If they look for person we go give them to you, fact as he be.
Men no dey ever get fault. If baby no dey for her, na the woman.
Talk no dey be person, you make person no fit talk true inside.
But for this country, we know say if we open curtain in the morning, waiting no good, no good.
Me and my sisters, hey, we go tanda gidigba for inside studio to give una all the latest information.
Look, we no even take responsibility for the children. Leave the man.
And that's some period.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amako Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an Hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Murayo Afolabi Brown, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of Your View are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking
or you go here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call a permanent solution.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crumbs of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe it's achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. Amadedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
I'm Nifemi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News.
My day is usually busy and it's difficult keeping up with breaking news stories, trending stories, business news, stock exchange and what have you. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking news, real-time updates and trending stories on the go, right on my phone, no matter where I am. It's quick, easy and always on. And here you can join us by scanning the QR code or using the link on our X and Instagram. Why wait? Come to the side of news that keeps you ahead. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Thanks for staying with us. So our guest today is a TV host, a filmmaker, investor, a media entrepreneur whose 25-year career spans advertising, public relations, television, radio, print, and digital media. As the co-founder and CEO of Red Media, Red for Africa, he crafted and led strategies that fueled social movements and shaped national elections across Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Sierra Leone, and Senegal. Under his leadership, Red was honored as African Business of the Year alongside Dangote Group and Chandaria Industries. Welcome with us, the one and only Oprah's child. Let's go. Chude Jideonwo in the building. How you doing?
I'm very well.
Good to have you.
I love
that.
I love
it. Chude, you're doing big things.
Thank you.
You are doing big, and we're so proud of you. I mean, well done. But I know this weekend is a big weekend for you. Huge. We're going to talk about it in a minute. Right. But it's important for us to just take our viewers back to who's Chude and how long. I was going to tell you how we met.
Right, yes.
When I moved back home 2004, I think I was looking for a job, and somebody told me I was trying to do a TV presenting work, and somebody told me to go to Channels Television. I think Robin Mines. Yes. I think you were there. Yes. Debola too was there, and I think Yemi Adamalokun was there. And I was in the studio with you guys, watching you guys, and I was trying to see if I can get on, and I came with Camille back. Before we don't remember, it's been a while. But you know, I've seen how your growth has been throughout the years. Tell us a bit about that journey, briefly, your journey in the media.
I mean, it's just remarkable because this has been a time of so much reflection. First and foremost, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so happy to
it's one of my favorite shows.
Oh, liar.
I don't know it is, but you know now it is. I say it all the time.
I wanted you to say it again.
That's when I was doing this media tour. I haven't done interviews. I think the last interview I ever did before I went off was Your View as well.
Okay.
And when I was doing this, one of the reasons I was excited is I'm coming to meet my sister.
Yeah.
So really nice to be
Good to have
here.
you.
And it's amazing that you guys are still on top after so many
12 years.
It's incredible.
Thank
you
you.
know, incredible. Okay, so that said, I mean, my career started at 20 now. It's always remarkable because my first job was as a TV presenter. You know, I had written a book when I was 13. It was published when I was 15. And my publisher didn't know how to publicize books. It was based in Ibadan. And I was a media expert. By the time I came out of school, I was already a couch potato. I knew all the major columnists. So I would walk into TV stations and show the presenter my book and say, I would like to come on my show and talk about your book. That's why I met Dr. Livia Jideonwo, the late Livia Jideonwo, who was perhaps the biggest TV host at the time.
Absolutely.
And he got me on talk about. He read the book, loved it, got me on. And then live on set, and there was no live audience. So, but he had this funny thing he did when he talked to the camera because the live show. Live on set, he looks at the camera and says, this young man is so brilliant. He used to call me Chido. Chido, I think we should give him the youth segment of this show. Guys, what do you think? Chido, you are the host of the youth segment.
That's it.
Literally how I got my first job.
Oh, wow.
You know, so to see, and people have been kind to me like that all through my life, and that's how I've been here. Many of the big leaps in my life have been because first I would take the step to do the work, and somebody would see what I couldn't see and give me an opportunity I couldn't even believe.
Oh, wow, that's so beautiful. You know, Chude, I followed you for quite some time, and every time I watch your interviews, I'm not trying to toot your horn, but there's something so unique, distinct, raw, humane, palpable. I could go on and on about how you connect, not just with your immediate guests, but by connection, by extension, your vast audiences. Can you talk us through, because, I mean, we're in the same business, literally. Can you talk us through your process in terms of what intrigues you the most about the human spirit?
Ooh, I love that question. I don't think there is any one thing that intrigues me about the human spirit. The human spirit intrigues me. Yeah. When I see a person, the first question, because of I've thought of it now, the first thing that occurs to me is, are you happy? Is this person happy? You know, I remember when I interviewed Bobrisky in 2021. People were angry with it because, you know, everybody has decided to caricature Bobrisky. But I was honestly just interested in, is Bobrisky happy? And I asked that question, you know, and I'm like, you know, let's leave all this noise, all this social media thing. You, as a human being, are you happy? And so when I see people, and I think that's why I don't go out a lot, because it would be emotion overload. I'll be, you know, but when I see people, I really want to know, not just are they happy, how are they feeling? When I see something in the news, I'm like, the person behind it, how is the person dealing with this? And so I could do my show every day because there's so many people in the news who I want to get into their spirits and find out what's really going on there. So I think that makes it easy. So when I sit down, it just flows from there.
Wow. Okay, so I've watched your show a lot of times. So even me too. Just like what the way Chika expressed herself, I'm always taken away, and I enjoy it every single time. And of course, happy birthday to you. Just turned 40.
Yes.
Right. So far, amongst all the people that you have been interviewing, talking to on your show, who has been the most difficult celebrity and why?
I cannot say it. But so two things always happen. There's sometimes some guests, because now that my show has become this popular, so people know the show. So when they come,
they tighten up.
They tighten up. So first of all, people. So it's a blessing and a curse. So some people, because of that, they want to come on the show. There are people that they're like, I'd rather die. When they come in, they tighten up. So sometimes I'm like, so why did you come if you don't want to say anything? Because it's not as if the show is hidden. When I was starting, so that is always difficult. But I had a guest, a popular artist, when I first started. And so I was asking this guest, I'm like, oh, when I started, it looks like your career dipped. But now, I wouldn't ask that question if the person's career has actually dipped. But now the career has gone back up. So I thought this is a good arc. It looked like your career dipped. And, you know, it came back up. What happened? Say, it is you that your career dipped. And honestly, I didn't even, like you would do, I didn't even pause. I had finished the interview. It was my producer said, this lady just insulted me. I'm like, She was in her house when I invited her to come and do the show. So those kinds of moments, you had people keep me, because they recorded show. People keep me waiting for hours.
Cancel last minute.
Cancel last minute, all kinds of things.
So because it's a recorded show, it's not live, I sometimes see people come on your show and the backlash that they suffer, and I'm wondering, why should they leave this kind of comments, make it trend now, you know?
Yeah.
Could those areas, when you're editing, could they have been protected, you know, from what possibly would come, or is it of benefit, of course, to your shows for it to trend? You know, what exactly is...
The two things. First, if you go on my page, so, you know, we're joking. We can joke as friends about my hair, and those who like it, those who don't like it. If you go on my page, I don't see comments, but my people tell me, they give me summaries at the end of the month. I leave everything on. You know, me and Debola had this emotional moment during my birthday. People were saying all kinds of things. I leave it on. I am not afraid of people's opinions. So it's because of that I it's not that you are saying it, that I'm thinking about, the comments. I don't fear people's comments. I think that it's all part of life. So I never delete a negative comment about myself. It has to be something really, maybe it's illegal.
About your interviewees.
So that's what happens with the guests as well. I don't think of that. Now, maybe what you're referring to, so if the other thing you're referring to is the things that I put maybe in the promos or things like that. So I have about 34 interviews that I have not published because the guest said, I'm no longer comfortable.
Me too. I'm one of those guests. I called her, please don't post that.
Exactly. So she knows, so she can testify. It's not a lie. If a guest says, I'm not comfortable with what you say, I step it down. It's not even a debate. Even if it's hot. I've had one hot interview. Somebody has confessed to cheating on his wife on the show.
Wow.
It's not in the public domain. He called me later. I said, bros. I said, don't worry. You know?
I have to pause you. I'm sorry, my producer is my ears. I have to go on a short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars,
result. Let me go and look for my jam result. So
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam result.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show. Ladies and gentlemen, #1 Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done.
And thank you for staying with us. We still have with us Chude Jideonwo. So Chude is having the Africa's biggest talk concert this weekend.
Thank you. This Sunday.
Tell me about it. Let us know the lineup. I know there's Chimamanda.
Yes.
I know there's Funke Akindele.
Yes.
I know there's Bovi.
Yes.
I know there's Falls.
Yes.
I know the fourth, but the fifth
Pastor Jerry Eze.
Pastor Jerry Eze.
Yes.
Please, what determined this lineup of people?
Yes.
How did you even arrive there first?
If you watch Oprah, you know that they have concert songs.
Exactly.
So you know, but
I don't watch Oprah.
Tell us about how. First of all, the guests. I'll come there. You come to the concert in a minute.
Yeah.
How did you come up with this lineup?
Oh, first, so quickly, I need to tell this quickly. You know, you are part of the testimony. I write it in my book. My book is coming out in August of my show.
Really?
I recorded my interviews in 2018, and then I was afraid to put them out. I thought Nigerians would not love them. And so I prayed, and I said, okay, and people say I should do it. I said, God, okay, I'm going to call Moriah for TVC. And if TVC accepts to, because the show started on TVC, if TVC accepts to do the show, and I'm really like, you, God, want me to do this show. And so I called her, everything I've ever asked her to do, she has said yes. So I called you, then you gave me the contact of the person to talk about. I came for a meeting. I said, okay, God, this is because I'd never done anything with TVC at that time. So that's how I got on the show. That's how my show, if not, this show would not even exist. But what happened was, just before the show launched, Oprah did something called the Vision 2020 tour. And she had Michelle Obama, and she had The Rock, she had Lady Gaga, and I thought this was a talk concert. I thought this was fantastic. And so I said, I'm going to do this, but I don't know when. And so when I was coming up with my guests, I thought, I want to mix it like that. People that you don't expect coming together in a room and design it. So designing this event was so exciting for me, you know. So I knew I wanted to get Chimamanda.
See that Chimamanda, that one alone.
Yes.
I'm like, how in the world did you get a Chimamanda?
What people don't know is that Chimamanda, in fact, we just shot a promo. I posted it on my social media page this morning. Chimamanda was the first hit interview I ever did in my life. I interviewed her 20 years ago for This Day cover. And that was the first time my interview went viral. You know, as viral then. And this is the second interview I'm doing with her in 20 years, you know. And Chimamanda has, you know, with my show, she's like, you know, I'll do your show. So I said, okay, this is what God has been keeping you for. And it's her first major event since she released the book in Nigeria. We call it her homecoming. So it's one of the highlights. Funke Akindele has just gone. Funke Akindele, I love her so my heart, and she has carried this event on her head. First of all, she's the one that told me, Chude, only that ticket. This one you are doing, go and promote your show. And I thank her. That's the best advice I've got. So, Pastor Jerry, I didn't even know the NSPPD is 5 years this year. People have never seen a pastor in this light. But Pastor Jerry has created a movement. And people don't know the story that led him here. And I know I've been his friend for 20 years. And so, or about 17 years. And so, I just wanted that mix of people that when you leave that event on the 27th of April, you will feel like your fire has been lit. It's something special.
It's huge. I saw that you were marking 25 years.
Yes, in the media.
I don't know you just turned 40 the other day. So take us, you know, what's making it 25 years and, you know, the 5 years in media.
So 25 years was when, so I mentioned Olivia Johnson. I was 15 when I started my career. So my book was published at the age of 15. I remember when after that, 1 year after Dr. Levy, so this was 2000. That's when my career started. 1 year after, I was offered a job by Fumi Yonda to be researcher on New Dawn.
Yeah.
And I remember when I got that job, this was like 1 year, so maybe 2001 or 2002. I'd come on the show, talk about my book, and then she called me 3 months after. And when I was good, my mother said she's going to offer you a job. And I was still a student of University of Lagos studying law. And I thought, it's not possible. Is this even legal to offer GOTV presenter? I can understand. And so, but that's what I got there. She offered me a job as a researcher. So that's how my career started. It wasn't planned. I was still in school. I knew I wanted to be a journalist, but I thought it's when I finished school that I will now do it. But that's how my life started.
Wow. Yeah. I'm told I have to go on a very short break again.
That's right.
When we come back, we continue this conversation with Chude. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
For number 1 on the countdown, one of Nigeria's hottest artists right now. His name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym to get fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying.
So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make a relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But there are all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You see some spice.
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Yeah, today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's catch up.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay tuned.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Get ready to step into the heartbeat of your city like never before. Welcome to Events Diary, where every moment is a celebration. From the electric energy of Owambe extravaganza, to the richness of our culture, to the sophistication of corporate gatherings, Events Diary is your VIP pass to the hottest gatherings in Nigeria. And guess what? I'll be your guide, your style icon. Each week, join me as I transform from traditional chic to corporate sleek. Whether it's a birthday bash or a high-profile gala, you won't just see it. You'll feel like you're right there with me. Aww. From meetings to evening soirees, I'll be there. Or to the trendiest street festivals or to music concerts, Events Diary has something for everyone. So join me as we explore the vibrant tapestry of Nigerian scene, one event at a time.
Brand new studio, brand new set, a new face, but still your favorite breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria.
It's a fresh new energy, new vibe. You smell that?
Now that.
Thanks for staying with us. Just to remind our viewers, Chude is celebrating 40 years on Earth, 25 years in the media, 21 years of business partnership, 20 years of Red Media Africa, 19 years of Future Awards, 15 years of Why Naija, and 5 years of Not Only You.
Massive celebration.
This year is a year of celebration. How do you feel about it?
I feel joyful. I can't even lie. Like, you know, even when I decided to do this, to go and talk about it, I thought I was going to be I go to be exhausted. No, I'm having fun. And and I have worked hard.
Yeah.
And I am happy to be having fun after that hard work. Fantastic. I am having fun.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to watch this concert because
Thank
you have
you.
amazing personalities on board.
Thank you.
So can you give us, I know you guys are going to discuss various topics, a lot of it, so can you give us a sneak peek at what you guys are going to talk about that will make us want to watch?
So they're sharing their life stories. So 2 things. I met with all the guests because I like to protect my guests. And I asked them, do you have any no-go areas? I asked Chimamanda again on Friday, do you have any no-go areas? They said no, they trust me. I said, okay, do you want us to rehearse? Because it's a live show. Yeah. There's no cut, remove this. They said no, they trust me. And I shared a tidbit of what Funke wants to talk about, how her mother's passing, for instance, how it shook her in a way that there was something she did after that people were shocked by, and why that led to that. That gives you an instance. Pastor Jerry was working for the UN, in Lagos, had a call to go and open a church in Umuahia. Darkness, no movement for a long time. He has never shared that story in detail, So there are all these stories. Chimamanda just had her twins. So there's all these personal stories that they're not just telling for fun because they don't share it anywhere else. They're telling it because they think that it will change somebody's life. And they think that this is the platform that if they want to share this kind of thing, then it should rather be this platform. So things that people haven't heard before that will fire them up, I've heard it because I spent 2 hours with them because this is a concert, so I spent 2 hours talking to them and people's minds are going to be blown.
Fantastic.
So that is the primary thing.
So
you will hear stories. The Palms, Lekki, Lagos, 27th of April, this Sunday. Wow. The Palms has an amazing event center behind that we are transforming.
Wow.
From 2 p.m. And people can get their tickets on events.withchude.com. Events.withchude.com. So I'm telling all those my fans, YouTube followers, subscribers, fan not be for mouth.
As TVC is the origin.
Yes, so we have to.
What are you doing? I have a CEO. I would love to attend. So what are you doing for us?
Oh, no, but see, that's the thing about TVC is a media partner. TVC has supported me. I didn't even have to ask twice. So I think there's a spirit in TVC that loves
we support people now.
Yes, so TVC, so there's VIP tickets. First for that MD that said yes quickly.
Let me give you your comments on our YouTube. Our fans are saying, Vicky says, this dude doesn't look 40, Joe. This one 40, but he's so, I would so.
I just wanted to ask very quickly about the panel session, because I hear you're also having a panel session with featuring Taoma, Vicky James, Kiki. Interesting mix-up. Walk us through how this plugs into the whole idea.
We're even announcing 2 big panelists tomorrow and next tomorrow.
Wow.
So
it
I never finished. What it was, I'm not personally on social media.
Okay.
Like I don't have the password to my social media account. And I don't read comments. Because this life is too fast for me. I can't handle it. But these people who are in the, I want to have a panel about, let's get real. Vicky James is posting, people call her overexposed, all of those things. What toll does it take on you to exist in this time of social media? How do you handle it? How do you keep your mind and your spirit? Why do you do it? Do you understand? So that panel, it's deliberate to get creatives who are daily on that panel. To be honest with me, Moses Bliss is one of the most celebrated gospel artists. By the way, has never done any big interview that people have. You can't go and search for a Moses Bliss interview. So I was very honored that he said yes. And I'm like, you see the wedding, you see the collaboration, you see that. But as a gospel artist, at this time where you are negotiating how to be a gospel artist, and there's that public-private line, how do you still maintain your soul and your spirit? So I wanted to have that panel. I wanted to take social media and the fast pace of life and have a real conversation about how to cope in this fast-paced time.
We saw you spoke to the governor of Lagos State recently. What's that about? Is he going to be in the panel too?
No. The governor of Lagos State has been a fan of Chude for years. Anytime I see him at events, he will be telling me about episodes that he watched. So this is not capping.
He's a very young at heart governor.
He's a very young at heart governor. My birthday, I saw Debola. And I saw 40 years birthday, Baoni Chude. And like, he saw this, he saw my staff doing a birthday for me. I'm like, a busy governor.
Keeps it
so he invited me graciously to come see him. I'd invited him to attend. We have a number of VIPs who have supported me through my life, a number of ex-ministers, new ministers. But, this is about the celebrities on the stage. But people who love my work are coming to support me, and I'm so honored by it. So the governor of Lagos State, he's our chief host now, he stayed, so he's one of those that, and he said, look, Chude, I'm attending as a guest. You know, I want to sit down, I really want to watch that thing that you do on your set. I want to watch it live. I'm incredibly honored. And it's not just him, there's a number of other governors who said yes quickly. It was just amazing. And some of them these ones I've never even met before, but they are fans of the show.
Oh, fantastic.
Well done.
Well done.
Thank you.
Any comments on session?
Plenty.
Let's take a few comments.
Today is the next big thing in talk show in Nigeria since Mo Abu.
He's the big thing already.
Yes. I said your first book was published when you were 15 years. You know, people were shocked about that. Right. So plenty comments.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
So we'll have to wrap up with you, Chude. But I mean, as I said, so it's this weekend. People can buy the tickets.
This Sunday.
This Sunday.
Event.chude.com. Event.chude.com.
We'll go there to get there. And you have the phenomenal lineup of people. Yes. I'm desperately wanted to listen to Chimamanda. I've loved her. I've followed her for years. Yeah. I mean, I try to speak like her. I mean, all of us. Because the reason is because I stumble on my words. So I always try to use her style where you read from the book, but I never do. I get the script. When I get in front of people, it just goes off. So I always
love about you, it feels authentic.
Yeah, so you're right. So that feels authentic, but I always loved and admired Chima. I want to come and
I'm very glad
from her. But I think final words to our viewers?
Final words, I mean, I thank people for the support. The support has been phenomenal since I announced this event. But you know, the support should translate to the day. You know, nobody has done this before, and when this succeeds, comedians do this, musicians do this, and I love them. This is for your mind, your heart, and your spirit. I want, when we do this, for there to be an explosion of talk concerts by shows that change people's lives across the country. So the success of this event is a success for the culture. I'm looking forward to all the people who are going to show up.
Congratulations. That's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.